Alright, so are you tired of your old dim halogen headlights or stock sealed beams and looking to upgrade to LEDs? Well, I think we can cover that in today's video. So right now I'm running these, I have no idea what brand they are. I think they were called like Kawan or something, LEDs. This is the this setup right here where it's got the 4 rows and their 5D LEDs in the middle. And the beam patterns kind of suck ass. I really like the way that they look from the outside, but they just, too much glare for oncoming drivers. The beams aren't focused, and I'm just, eh. So today's sponsored video is going to be from Auxbeam. They sent me some sealed headlights to try out, so we're going to try them out. So if you've seen Bleep and Jeep Tim, he actually did a video on these, I think, where he tried them out. So you can go see what he thought as well. But here they are. Should focus. Thank you. So this is a different style. This is not the common like rows and stripes of LEDs and all that. These are much larger focus areas, the lenses and all that. I'm not sure what they're specifically called as far as the pattern is, but certainly very shiny. I think the high beam is the bottom one, and all the other ones are the low beam. I mean, when you turn a high beam on, they'll all turn on. But here's the back. This is supposedly a cast aluminum housing, so it's not plastic. Better for heat dissipation and all that. It comes with an H4 plug stock, so it is plug and play. This is a 5x7 headlight, or a 6054, I think is the Cherokee number for it. They got a nice .SAE sticker on there if you care about that. But yeah, a couple stats. These are 110 watt LEDs. They are 6000K, which like is a pure white as far as color temperature goes. And they're 5600 lumens low beam and 8000 lumens high beam. So fairly decent, fairly average for LED market. You know, they claim 50,000 hours from the LEDs themselves. So again, pretty standard. These are on Amazon for somewhere around the $80 range, 80 to 90 bucks. So link in the description if you'd like to check these out. So anyway, that's about all that in a nutshell. But who cares about looking at them? Let's see what they can actually do. So, see a little difference in appearance there. It's very bright, reflectivey. But yeah, the most important thing that I can think of for LED lights is their beam pattern. Alright, they all have basically the same amount of brightness, so it's really down to two things. How do they look? Do they look the way that you like? And two, do they give a beam pattern that is safe and useful? These ones are kind of neither. They're not super useful and they're not super safe. Other things really are plug-and-play compatibility, which most LEDs have nowadays. They all have the right plug and all that. Do they have adequate cooling? Usually these bigger sizes don't have fans like the smaller ones do, but that's fine. There's a lot more surface area to take up that heat. And radio noise is a smaller one. I've noticed that more with like the H4 bulbs that I get, like with the Honda. That's a common test that I always do, is to check for radio interference with these. They're starting to get better with their power regulators, so hopefully radio noise won't be an issue anymore when they're on. But anyway, besides that, I guess we'll get started with replacing these. So if you've ever seen the front of your Jeep before, there's not a whole lot going on. We've got a screw here, and you'll have to take the two screws here out for this side marker light. Once the cover comes off, there's just a little metal retainer clip with two screws in the bottom and the top. Take that out and the whole thing's free. Okay, so we got this guy off. This you just twist 45 degrees and pull it out. And then this, when you get the screws out, will come out. This thing's busted to hell, all hell, but still holding on there. So now we can see our two screws at the bottom and at the top. Don't worry about the middle screw, that's for the adjuster. Same for this one, it's just an adjuster, you can leave it. So, now the fun with Phillips. Everyone always asks this. How do you get these screws out without stripping them? So they're usually pretty difficult to get out. Well, the fun thing with Phillips, right, is that if you want to break them free, all you gotta do is tighten them. Okay, because what happens when you try to loosen them up, they want to cam out on you, and you can't get anything done. So what you do is you tighten it a little bit so that you get a pop. As long as your screw fits properly. I don't know if you saw that, but it broke free, and then she'll just come right out. This is a little hard to do while looking through the camera, but that's a really good trick. If your screwdriver fits tight and you got a Phillips that's stuck, push real hard, both hands, tighten it until it pops, and then you can back them out. Usually works pretty well. So we'll take those out, we'll remove the light. Once all the screws are free, then all you got is this little this piece. Sometimes you got to pull the bottom down first and be able to wiggle it out. But yeah, this is just held on there. It's a little retainer ring. On some of the cheaper ones, it's a bit of a tighter fit. I guess it's not exactly a problem. Just a pain in the ass to get off sometimes. There you go. And then we can just unplug this connector here. If you see an extra wire like this, this is for your daytime running lights. So with this particular style, it's got lights on the side, which you can use as a blinker or daytime running lights, DRLs. So you take this small positive wire and run it to a 12-volt source that is hooked up to your running lights or your blinkers. So in this case, you come over here and you figure, oh, this is only a runner. So down here you have the blinker, you got two filaments, you got a running filament and a blinker filament. Make sure you find the right one, and you just tap it into here. It takes like almost no current, so it shouldn't really be an issue. But yeah, I just got one of these little vampire clips for that. It's, they're not great, but for quick and dirty, does the job. So anyway, we're going to disconnect all this. And that's the nice thing about plug and play, or plug and play. So we'll plug the new ones in and mount them up. Alright, so something smart to do is to test it out before you button it all up. So I noticed this one is slightly thicker than the other one, so you got to push it a little harder, but it does still fit in the bucket pretty well. So that's what this thing looks like. Sorry I can't get a good picture, it's really reflective. But it's kind of what we're looking with. So let's turn it on. Here we have this guy on the right, and this guy on the left. So as you can see with the low beam, we've got pretty much everything lit up except for the bottom one. And just looking at the cutoff right now, I'm impressed. Again, it's a little hard to tell in the daytime, especially when you're standing up like this, but like we just come down. Oh yeah, there's the bright light. Let's see, does that show up well on the camera? Oh yeah, you see that right there? That's like, ouch. And then you come up here and nothing. Bright, nothing. Bright, nothing. Not bad. Then we come over here, and there's bright, there's really bright. So you can kind of see the difference there. But I'm really curious to see how these face off. Okay, so now you can see the one on the right, all the lights are lit. Same with this, now that bottom one is lit as well. So honestly, even with the high beams, I'm not seeing a ton. It is on, right? Oh yeah. Wow, that's bright. Yeah, like honestly, I can look like directly at this super comfortably. I don't see any problems. So let me line you up with my eyeballs. So right here, that's fine. Let me bring it down a little bit, because that's really cool. This is a good lens setup right here. It's like, all right, now those little like the outermost ones are like kind of bright, and you come down, it's like, okay, now everything's really bright, and then the high beam's kind of floating in there somewhere too. And just like that, it's nighttime. Yay! Let's bring it down some more, and oh, there's the light. So, looking on the phone, you can easily see this one over here. Interesting how the colors diffuse from the lenses versus the flat here. So, let's just cover this one first. If I can cover it all the way. See if we can lock this exposure down. Okay. So, you can see that there's quite a lot of light spilling onto the trees. And the ground is pretty flat. You know, not too many major hot spots. It's very wide. So I'm going to open that up. So you see how hot that side is? Now, I'm going to cover this one. See, all the trees just disappeared. Look at that cutoff, man. Holy hell, there's no spill anywhere. That is a very clean light. That right there is not going to piss off any oncoming drivers. Just to go over, all that versus none of that. This is why beam pattern is important. Because if you look at this already, it's not flat. This is actually aimed pretty far down. Like, that's about as far down as I could go. And we'll see with the high beams, that the high beams are trash. So, we still have all that spillage. But now we have these obnoxious high beams that are just spilling all over the road and not doing anything useful out there. So on this one, you can see over there, that little square, that right there, that is the high beam on the new one. Let's see if I can get somewhere in the middle here. And then we come over to this side, and this one just has a giant spot that's just all over the ground and just barely the littlest bit in the woods. So you have to choose. Do you want a useful high beam or low beams that actually kind of sort of stay out of people's eyes, but not really? So yeah, it's a shame, because I do like the way that these look with the narrow strips. That really gets me going. I really like the narrow strip look. These ones look a little strange. You know, they might not be for everyone, but damn, do they give a good light pattern. And if you're looking for something that actually looks nice on the road, that's probably more of what you'd want. Alright, so now we're going to try our garage test proper and see what our headlights look like head to head. So right off the bat, you can get a really good idea of what these look like. So something interesting, this sends out a bunch of like weird like spots, the old one. And on the right, you can see this nice, wonderful cutoff over here. We're not really having much of any issue at all. Looks really nice. I'm digging it. Alright, so I'm going to have to dim this a bit. So now you can see on this side. Alright, so the high beam over here is just a nice bright spot in the middle, which is kind of dumb for how the light is being shaped. And over here, you can see the high beam is a nice tight little square right there, and we also got a dome on the top now. So it's kind of like a full circle. So yeah, quite a fair bit of difference. Yeah, I guess now we're going to put marks where the lines are, or for us, we can really just remember where the dashes are, but we'll put a mark for where each hot spot is. We'll back up 25 feet and start aiming. Okay, so now we backed up. Had the measuring tape all the way back 25 feet. So now, the reason why we put those marks on there is so that we can see where the center of the light's supposed to be. And we're going to basically move the light up until the bright spot is close to that mark. And here's a crappy light. And there's a good light. Big difference, huh? Okay, so just to show you, this is what it looks like when you adjust your headlight. So we got two screws. First we're going to do up and down, then we'll do left and right. So our center screw here, we're going to tighten, and that'll make it go up. And for me, since I'm lifted, I'm going to try and aim for the cutoff to be right at the center line for us. Okay. And then we'll try and get the hot spot of the light to be about center too. So for that, we're going to take our outer adjuster and loosen it. My clip's a little loose, so it might be a pain to get it to line up just right. That's not too bad. Nice. So that's our low beams right there. Let's check our high beams. Oh yeah. Actually, the high beams make it a little easier to see the center. And these lights are good. I can stare directly at them from above, and I'm not really getting blinded by them. So that's about what I see right there. So I guess we'll go for a drive, see what we think. So I might have to bring it down just a little bit. Not bad though. So that's high beams. That's low beams. So you can see when we hit a bump, we kind of get more into the bright zone. It's a little weird that there's a bright spot right under the hood, then there's kind of like a dim spot, then there's another bright spot farther forward. Feels like it's a little too far forward for what I'd want unless I aim it up higher. There's high beams. You can easily tell they go super far. Like, that's great. Look at that. It's a huge difference. I think I'm gonna bring them up just a little bit, because I bet you that bright spot is supposed to be on the road. You see how the headlight's out? So I'll have to mess with it and see why it's being goofy. Hopefully it's not a dud or something. That'd be a little embarrassing. Oh yeah, it's a lot easier to see on a dark road like this. God, it's nice to look at on camera. That's insane. Yeah, I think I gotta bring that down a little bit. I think that's an eyeballs. Yeah. Alright, so we'll bring that down some. Spot hits. It's pretty good. I'll have to find the sweet spot. I might have to angle them both out a little bit to widen it. But again, we'll tweak it until we see fit, but there's a lot to work with. I like it. So what's the dealio, bruh? Knock knock. Anybody there? Oh, there she goes. So it also looks a little dim, so that might be a loose wiring issue, I guess. Okay, so after further inspection, I don't think it's the light to blame. Looks like we got a bad ground over here. That thing is beat. It's all twisted out and starting to come apart. So I'm gonna have to fix that wire, and then we should have a working light. But I would have to say that's probably our problem child. Focus, you fuck. It's definitely a wiring something. Okay, so I just want to show, I reran the ground. So before it was doing some real convoluted stuff, where it was going to a hole that was underneath this. I can't really see it, but it was somewhere down there. It took a real long path. The point I'm trying to make is, there's a perfectly big hole right here. I don't know why I didn't wire it there the first time. Way more access, tons of room. It actually comes out, doesn't get stuck anywhere. So now that it's not being pulled real tight, it's not going to put any pressure on that anymore. It might actually have something. There you go. Look at that. I can actually pull it out a little bit. So what I did was I opened this up with some flatheads, and we're going to do the cheap thing and reuse it. So we're just going to slide that onto there, crimp it, slop it back in there, and we should be good to go. Okay, so now our ground is crimped, squished, pushed back into place, open up the pin so it didn't pop out. Got plenty of slack, and our light works. Very bright, very nice, and if I shake it all about, scream and shout, no problems. Okay, so the light was good, excellent. Auxbeam 1, my wiring skills 0. Alright, so we'll install that, but I think that just about does it. I am super impressed and super happy with these. They are radical. Really dig it. Alright, so there you go. That's what these Auxbeam LED headlight housings look like. H4 plug, 5x7, 50/64 or 200 millimeter, whatever sizes those are. So, if you don't mind the goofy bug eye looking thing, they give you a really nice beam pattern, and I'm definitely going to run these for a while and see what I think long term. But I dig them. So yeah, but the way that their beam pattern is just so nice that it's kind of hard to say no, honestly. I think we'll just have an alien goose for a while, and yeah, see what we think. I think I'll be happier with them on the road, and I'm sure so will all the oncoming drivers. So I guess it's kind of important, eh? Maybe I'll see if I can take apart the old ones and put some different lenses on them so they actually function. So if I get really bored. So there you go. That's Auxbeam in a nutshell. Thanks for sending out your product to review. I dig them. Links in the description. Check them out.